Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 6, WhistleSpeak. There was some videos and images, leaked or put out beforehand, and I was pretty much judging this and assuming the worst, and I was pretty much right. It's very much a bottle show, very much a filler show. Nothing really happens. It's really frustrating because I heard them saying that they were going to have like some episodes that are going to be more like original Star Trek episodes, and there was reference to this being a classic Star Trek tale. Now, this sort of goes back to some of the worst elements of the original Star Trek, where sometimes they didn't have a lot of money, so they just went on location and basically had characters that were sort of not very advanced, so they could basically have them in really simple costumes and no sort of humanoids, so no makeup, and just they'd usually make up for it with an interesting story, but production-wise you wouldn't really get much. It'd just be, people on location. That's sort of it, in sort of cheap sort of costumes. So the worst, so their biggest homage to the original Star Trek in this show is the worst, cheapest cliche, which amounts to a filler show and a bottle show where it's just to save money. There's a lot of talk about the Prime Directive, and sort of the perspective sort of interesting. They do sort of look at it from all sort of sides, and there are some elements that the other Star Trek show sort of didn't pay a lot of attention to and made sort of assumptions, but I'm not really sure if they're wrong, but that's a whole another video to get into, the Prime Directive and all that. But basically they end up on the planet. They, in order to get the piece, have to run this marathon thing to try and get in, but then once they get in they're going to be sacrificed. So Michael Burnham, she breaks the Prime Directive, but does she need to break it as bad as she does? Like, did she have to beam in right in front of the guy? Couldn't she have beamed in somewhere else in the building and just walked in and talked to him and said she got in some other way? Did she have to explain the whole history of the Federation basically to him just to get him on her side, just for this one, just to get to this item and not to kill Tilly and that? They believe they are sacrificing people so it rains, but it's going to rain anyway because the machines that they have on the planet are monitoring or stabilizing or basically affecting the weather. So yeah, and the stuff with Culber, him being on some spiritual search, and the idea of spiritualism in Star Trek is kind of annoying because Star Trek is really science-based, but it's not the same as religion, so spiritualism, there is more room for it. Basically boring filler show with nothing interesting or artistic or creative. It just sort of looks like one of those cheap Stargate episodes where they seem to encounter a lot of backwards societies that basically run around, planet Canadian backlot in the forests in basic sort of clothes looking like they're something out of Mad Max, or just some sort of primitive sort of, it's just, I've seen a couple of reviews where people thought it was like the worst episode the season's done and not a good episode, and other people, particularly Jessie Genter, thought it was the best one ever, and I'm like, she really doesn't get Star Trek. She really doesn't get Star Trek. That's how she can love something like this. God bless her. Little cotton sock, she just doesn't know any better, I don't think. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I didn't think I'd even get to 4 minutes on this. I was just basically like, no, this is just... It's not interesting Star Trek. It's like the worst elements of the original Star Trek, and they're not even glorifying it or trying to expand on it. They're just using it to save money. And like, oh, here's your original Star Trek, homage. Here's your original Star Trek elements that, we're actually going to deliver for a change. Oh, it's the worst, cheapest, cliched bottle show filler sort of elements that the original series occasionally had to do, and even some of the later Star Treks had to do for budgetary reasons. They're doing it, well, they're doing it for budgetary reasons, but they're pretending it's for altruistic, artistic reasons, which is the insulting part. But I'm still talking. It's 5 minutes after. I'm going to go. Let me know what you thought of this. But yeah, 4 more to go, and it's all over.